Well, guys, if you have ever entered on breakout and the market immediately reversed back, it means you were missing one thing: understanding where the normal range ends and movement stronger than usual begins. So today we'll break down Donchian Channels, a simple channel that is built on highs and lows and really helps to read breakouts more calmly. And I will show you how it indicates trend, range, and volatility, and how to choose the period and where a breakout is considered confirmed. And after the theory, straight to the practice, I'll open several trades using the same rules and break down each entry. The Donchian channels are three lines on the chart. The upper boundary shows the highest price over the selected period. The lower boundary shows the lowest, and the middle is simply the center of the range between them. It forms a corridor that constantly updates, and the meaning is just very practical there. So the channel shows where the price is relative to its recent range. Trend, range, and volatility. So what this channel tells the trader. So first, the trend. If the price often holds near the upper boundary, the market just is showing strength upward. If near the lower boundary, pressure downward. The second, volatility. So if the channel is wide, the fluctuation range is large, the market is nervous. And if the channel is narrow, the market is calmer, and often this looks like consolidation before a move. And the third, range boundaries. In a sideways market, the upper and lower lines work as expensive or cheap reference points inside the corridor. The most important setting here is the period. So over how many candles would take the high and low. So the classic is 20 periods, often used as a base option. And the logic is simple: smaller period, so the channel reacts faster but may give more noise. And the opposite, larger period, the channel is calmer, but signals will come later. So therefore, I perceive the period as the volume of the filter. The higher it is, the fewer random movements influence the channel. Guys, the first and most well-known scenario is a breakout. When the price goes above the upper boundary, it's a hint for a possible continuation upward, and when below the lower boundary, a possible continuation downward. But there is an important detail. A breakout is better considered confirmed when the price just fixed, that is, so closes beyond the boundary and not just pierces the line. And in a trend, you can often see different behavior. The price can stay near the upper boundary for a long time in an uptrend or near the lower boundary in a downtrend. This is not overbought or oversold by default, but rather a sign that the market is truly pulling in the direction of the trend. And another application is the boundaries as support or resistance. And the upper line acts as a resistance, with the lower as a support. But this works better when the market is actually moving in a corridor but not in an impulse. The channel becomes much stronger if you add confirmation. So volume helps to understand whether the breakout is real or empty. Next, moving averages that help filter direction. So every RSI or a MACD can highlight how much the movement is supported by momentum. And important, Donchian is not an entry button. It is context that makes entry points calmer. Limitations. It is a lagging tool. It shows the past range, not predicts the future. So false breakouts are possible in sideways market, and the period must be adjusted to your trading style. There is no one perfect number for everything. And therefore, my approach is simple. First market movement, then signal, then confirmation, and only then entry. So Donchian channels give a framework where the market was within normal limits and where movement stronger than usual begins. Now I will move to the practice and show several trades, guys, how I determine movement on the chart, where the price is relative to the channel, and what exactly I consider confirmation. And my dears, if you want, just write the word strategy in the comments and I will record my real trading for you and try to demonstrate my strategy based on the Donchian channel indicator. Well, I'm ready, moved to the bracket. Let's slowly get started. And I selected currency pairs, the daily assets. So like more or less good payout percentages on each of them, and a small analysis has been done, so to speak, and prepared a bit. Yeah, let's add our Donchian Channel indicator finally. I think we'll leave the settings as they are since I'll be trading with a 3-minute expiration time and conducting the analysis on the 1-minute time frame. I think a period of 20 is quite enough for me here. So our middle line is orange. Let's make it a bit thicker, and accordingly all the other boundaries are in the same color together with the background. So click save. And this is the channel indicator we now have. Well, basically, I'm moving on to the further analysis, and as soon as I find the most favorable entry point, I'll come back to you guys. So let's begin. Now let's focus on this asset, the Canadian dollar and the Swiss franc. And with the appearance of a new candle, I'll open a buy trade here. We have a potential for a trend reverse, and some patterns can already be identified here. The last seconds remain, and we'll open a position for $100. Excellent. And as you can see, previously the trend had downward nature of movement, and then we just fixed a small sideways range like the flat. Yep, and a potential reversal here is quite possible. Let's highlight the working area so that I can explain to you the entry point in more detail. Well, you see, we just marked the support area with a green rectangle, and there are several touch points from which price has already reacted. Then I drew a trend line, and the second touch point also worked out according to this line. Yep, it was just decided that there is a potential for further upward movement. And there was touch of the lower boundary of the Donchian Channel after fairly strong downward volumes. Overall, this point completely suits me since it has already reacted and there is a potential for crossing the middle line of the indicator. And now we're just expecting further upward movement. And there is a small pullback to the middle line that is completely normal. We just got it. Nothing wrong with that, because we guys do not have additional tools, any additional tools at all, to find a calmer and more, like precise entry point. So, and this is why we just use only the Donchian Channel and a bit of technical analysis. So it's not always possible to select a perfect position. Yeah, but the potential to close the trade in profit is still there, and if needed, we'll open an additional trade. I'll immediately change the amount. I'll set $250 to cover the losses of the current position. And now a bounce from the middle line is still possible, so there is nothing wrong here. And perhaps we'll have to open 3 positions because I don't want to lose money on the balance. Yeah. And the candle now just is showing good volume and good dynamics, so we can open a buy trade. So we open an additional trade. And so what else? What else can be said here? So overall, there is a good volatility on the pair, good volumes. Sometimes sharp impulses occur. Yep. The first of all, it is important to understand from which level you want to play the movement and in which direction to open the trade. So here I consider it correct analysis to look for a buy position, since there is a potential reversal in the trend. And a sell trade could have been opened in this range where price touched the middle line. So on 1 minute, you could open a sell trade and just catch the reaction. But on the 1 minute time frame in such conditions, it's so difficult to select an entry point. Just these candles, yep, behavior like green with the red, and opening on 1 minute trade is so risky there. So most positions would likely have closed in a loss. Yeah. And therefore, we just try to follow more extended analysis here. And I expected an additional downward impulse with a touch of the trend line might occur, yeah. And now the balance allows me to increase the next trade. And yep, I see that. Yep. I'm just opening another buy position. And I have no right not to do that. So here we again had a touch of the trend line, yeah. And there was a small breakout as well as a touch of the lower boundary of the Donchian Channel. And the logic remains the same, so nothing changes. So, a systematic approach is important here. So I had 0 levels planned for opening a position. And as I said before, the previous candle showed good downward dynamics. So now we see a strong green candle. Really impressive one, yep. And, even... yeah, the second position closed at break-even. Good, so we didn't lose anything. And the third trade remains, yeah. Now, I'll say this. In theory, at this setup, the movement could have just broken the trend line, and in theory, the movement could have gone even lower. And in that case, I would have opened an additional trade because the format of the movement is impulsive with good volumes. And if price had gone lower, it would have touched the support area. And even, look, if the movement had then just continued downward, at the first touch, the level still should have given a pullback upward. It should have worked out. Yep, so everything just is under control here, yep. So just don't worry. And sometimes, guys, it's difficult to choose an entry point, yeah. I'll say it again, we rely only on one indicator. And as you already know from the theory, Donchian Channel is not a specific entry indicator, yeah. It is a tool for analyzing dynamics and understanding the trend. And yeah, the trade closes in profit, good. So as a result, the first position for $100 went into the loss. The second, it was the break-even, and in theory, the trade could have been closed in profit since the candle showed a good impulse. And already the third position confidently closed in profit. So that's how it turned out. So this is how it worked. Yeah, but I think this asset and this entry point are quite enough for you to understand how you can work with this indicator. What else? So we just based our decision on the support area and traded a reversal setup, and we didn't miscalculate. Yeah, we played it from that level. And by the way, another entry point may soon appear here. There is a touch of the support area, and it would be possible to try to open a trade, but I will not drag out the video on the trading, especially since the position has already closed the profit. So guys, I hope everything was clear and I reasoned through everything and explain it, and there will be no unnecessary questions. So but if something still remains unclear for you guys, you can ask me, ask any questions in the comments, or find my Telegram link in the description under the video and write me there in the direct message. So I'll try to help everyone. So guys, that's all. This is how Donchian Channels works in practice. So we saw the range, waited for the moment when the price just moved beyond the norm and took the entry only after confirmation. And that is the whole point. So Donchian doesn't guess the market. It gives the structure so that you can act more calmly. So guys, thanks everyone for watching, and if you want to trade in similar sessions in a private community with me and my team, you know where to find me. So all the necessary links you'll find in the description under this video, so just message me. And see you guys. Bye.